in a previous episode of Environmental Soup. And the one that I'm focusing on today is new requirements for data centers seeking to connect to the electricity grid in Ontario 025-1001. And you can comment on this until November 4th, 2025. And I think data centers are becoming more and more popular, more used. I think it's worth exploring this in greater detail. So, the notice is about prioritizing electricity specifically for data centers. AI, artificial intelligence is making data centers use more electricity and use more water resources, and it's connected to more energy consumption. Energy consumption and more greenhouse gases being released into the atmosphere as a result of the high energy loads. And this proposal says the data center sector is forecasted to represent about 13% of new electricity demand in Ontario by 2035. This includes things like Meta AI and Google searches that now use AI in ChatGPT. And they're saying that they want to support data sovereignty. And let's see. Oh, there's they have legislative amendments, which was in June 2025 introduced, and then they want the authority to set out in regulations certain requirements before connecting or reconnecting to the electricity grid. And then they want to have approval from the Minister of Energy and Mines to connect to the provincial electricity grid. And then they're seeking input based on size, geographic area, and where there could be surplus or constrained connections for electricity. And then they have 10 different questions. The 10 different questions are: do you support the proposal to prioritize electricity connections for the data centers that demonstrate economic, strategic, security, and local community benefits? What criteria should be used to define a data center that supports Ontario's economic and data sovereignty interests? And I'm going to see if there's any specific environmental related questions. So the on the environmental impact, the proposal says the proposal is not expected to have a material impact on the environment. This is interesting. And I think maybe I didn't look at the regulation. There is a regulation. Bill 40 is the regulation that they mentioned, which is an act to amend various statutes with respect to energy, the electrical sector, and public utilities. So somewhere in this act, somewhere in Bill 40, if you wanted to dive deeper into this. So I looked at the Sustainable Procurement Guidelines for Data Centers and Servers from the UN Environment Program. And I made some highlights. It says public procurement can be an important tool in reducing the environmental impact of data centers, known for the high energy consumption in the broader information technology sector. So I believe that in building new data centers, international standards should be applied. Best available energy efficient technology should be used if data centers are going to be built. Let's see. And they have a sizable carbon footprint. Many of them rely on diesel generators as backup. And this document applies to both the Global South and the Global North. So they're all things that wouldn't necessarily be applicable in Ontario necessarily. And then there's like the document. Did I say what the document was called? It's called Sustainable Procurement Guidelines for Data Centers and Servers. And then going down back to where it was. It's just so many pages. And then those different things that can be done. There's liquid to air cooling. And it's saying that computer room air handler do not use compressors, and they consume less energy, making them more efficient and requiring less maintenance. There's mentioned a section on waste heat recovery. And the placement of the data centers makes a difference. There should be sustainable procurement. Oh, I said that. Data centers shouldn't be in areas that can flood, and they're very susceptible. They require a lot of water. Existing buildings should be looked at first. And then those different calculations, they recommend for example, the water usage effectiveness. They say it's recommended to have a WUE of greater or equal to 1.5 liters per kilowatt hours in 2025, and to upgrade this to 1 liter per kilowatt hours in 2027. And I believe that a province like Ontario should be able to reach the better standard earlier than many other areas. And then, if you wanted to look more in detail, those different recommendations within this report. I did look up comments on Google. I didn't see any specifically related to this proposal. And then in the Guardian newspaper, there's an article called Data Center Emissions Probably 662% Higher Than Big Tech Claims. Can it keep up the ruse? And I made some highlights in this article from Isabel O'Brien, September 2024. And then it says, according to a Guardian analysis from 2020 to 2022, the real emissions from the in-house or company-owned data centers of Google, Microsoft, Meta, and Apple are probably about 662%, or 7.62 times higher than officially reported. And it's saying that a ChatGPT query needs about 10 times as much electricity to process as a Google search. So that's a huge difference, and why we shouldn't use ChatGPT or artificial intelligence for everyday use. The article talks about renewable energy certificates and how they don't consider location-based emissions, and that many of the companies are a lot higher than they otherwise would be, because they don't consider the location-based emissions. And then there's a quote in the article: it should be a bedrock principle of greenhouse gas accounting that no company be allowed to report a reduction in its greenhouse gas footprint for an action that results in no change in overall greenhouse gas emissions. Let's see. That's that article. And then there was a link, data centers and data transition networks. 1 to 1.5% of global electricity use and 1% of energy-related greenhouse gas emissions. And then to get on track with net zero emissions, they must be halved by 2030, and the prediction is that greenhouse gases are going to go up. So that's just... And then there's also PFAs. So chemicals used in electricity. There's an article, Advocates Raise Alarm Over PFAS Pollutions from Data Centers Amid AI Boom. And this is from Tom Perkins, October 2025 in The Guardian. And it's talking about chemicals used in cooling, stain and grease resistant. Those links to cancel. And it's hard to dispose of some of the equipment. And let's see. I'm just going to... Oh, I don't have the pause button. I'm just going to look up if there's anything AI and environment, so maybe some let's see. There's an article in the New York Times, AI's environmental impact will threaten its own supply chains. The NPR says data centers are booming, but there are big energy and environmental risks. So those are some of the headlines with a quick look. Yeah, so that's that environmental notice on the environmental registry. I hope that you're able to make comments on it if you're concerned about that. The environmental impact of artificial intelligence and data centers. And I hope that you have a good rest of your day. And let's see. Oh, and next week I plan on looking at some of the environmental committees. Or I might look at some records in environmental in municipal governments, if I can get access to a database that the National Observer has. I'm trying to do that. And I believe that's everything that I have today.